With Bitcoin's latest pullback, what does this mean for AVAX and should we be concerned? Guys, my name is Nick and today we're going to be diving into the wonderful world of Avalanche and specifically the price action of AVAX. As we get into this video, if you find it useful and informative, hit the like button. I really do appreciate that. If you are new to the channel, then do subscribe, tap the bell, select all notifications, and in doing so, you will not miss another update. Right, with that said, done that way, let's dive into this technical analysis for AVAX. We're going to start things off with this weekly chart briefly, guys, and just to talk about kind of progress that we have seen so far and where things are likely to go next. We can see that pretty much from the low areas of September 2020, we actually rose up about 6,991% to reach our highs in February of 2021. That came in at about $60, okay? Then we started to see a bit of a pullback so it was a sideways trade, a bit of a pullback in line with the rest of the crypto space, and now we have a good back, surge and recovery to the upside, and where we start to see some interesting kind of price discovery. Now, we obviously have started to see a new all-time high get set, and we're about 308% away from our target of $225 for this bull run. Now, I know often people ask, when are we likely to see that? And ultimately, timing is the hardest thing to actually get or kind of gauge. Now, for me, I do feel that it's going to be towards like the end of the year, so December, but it may also go into next year depending on how Bitcoin performs and whether or not we're going to see a slightly extended bull run. Otherwise, I see this kind of peaking out, December, late December, early January, then time. But obviously, it's really difficult to kind of gauge the time. Time is the hardest thing to kind of time. And so ultimately, we are just kind of taking a look at the technicals and seeing when things are likely to kind of come in towards the end there. But for now, that's kind of my best stab, I would say, towards the end of the year for that one. But yeah, 308%, $225 from the current position, which is currently at $55.13. And we can see the stochastic has been overbought as we first of all got to our $60 price range over here. We pulled down into a nice oversold area with the rest of the crypto space. We're down here for quite a while from April through to August. Back up into the overbought area. This is somewhere where we can stay around on the weekly chart for a fair few weeks. So wouldn't be surprised if we're up here until December, to be honest with you. So we'll have to just watch that one and see how that plays out. Other than that, there's not too much to report on this weekly chart. Let's jump down into our daily. This is where we start to see a little bit more of the detail of what has been going on most recently. So as we come into here, we can see there was a good recovery, a good surge to the upside. Now, obviously, that took some time, and I know a lot of people are impatient. They want to kind of see things instantaneously occur, right? But we actually went up here. It took 34 days to go from our low point to a reasonably high point over here. And then if we actually look at the all-time high, it took us 53 days to go from our low of correction wave 4 up to basically this new all-time high. So timing can be quite difficult, right? This was a good surge to the upside. It was nice and steady, and we saw good movement. We can see that we're overbought for the majority of that wave to the upside there, this little push. And then we'll see we lost a lot of momentum just here. This small kind of correction took us all the way back down to oversold area. We're right back up into the overbought area. And again, I'm not overly concerned on the daily here. As long as our hourly allows us to continue to be overbought, we could stay up this area for quite some time. So we could repeat this process. Obviously, at the moment, the main concern is that Bitcoin keeps pulling us down. Okay, and what we'll look for here is basically a nice way to kind of find a support. So for us right now, we're up against some interesting kind of resistance coming up at the previous high of $60.30. Even though we did wick above it, we haven't closed above that area, right? We can see that the dailies haven't closed above that zone. And so right now, that's kind of a bit of a blocker for us right up here at that resistance line. And the support wise, obviously you can see there was resistance up at the 786. This comes in just down here at $49.39. Okay, so $49.39. And this is the area that was previously resistance. This is the area that we want to turn to a support line. So if we can forget about that upper area of resistance for a moment and really think about what we want to achieve here, we want to make sure that we do not slip lower than our 786. We don't want to close below our 786 after all the work it took to actually get the closed candle above. So ideally what we want to do is actually focus really on keeping this area as a support line, right? If we can continue to hold the 786 as a support line, then we'll have a lot of traction as we move up to our first price target of the 1.618 Fibonacci retracement area. That comes in at $91.81. But for us to really be able to do that, we need to have a good, strong support line to bounce from. So that 786 should be that area that we want to focus in on. So although we are overbought, or just coming out of the overbought area, that's actually not too bad. If we hold this area, that should allow us to maybe even have a little bit of a baby correction here before going back up to the overbought area. And so on this daily chart, there's a lot of kind of progress that's occurred here, and I think that's going to continue. This project has some seriously awesome tech behind it, solid team. So if you haven't done your research on this one, I do urge you guys to go and do that, because it's a very powerful project. Lots of fantastic things around this one, and it can be a little bit complicated to understand to start with, but I do recommend really paying attention to it and doing some research on it. Now, I'm not a financial advisor. Chris is not a financial advisor, so it's important that you do that research, okay? Because no one's going to do it for you, unfortunately. You'll go hard pushed to find a financial advisor on YouTube, and there are influencers talking about all these various different projects all over social media. So it's important that you do your own research and come to your own conclusions and understand what this project is about. For me, I really like it. The tech's solid, the team's good, but don't just take my word for it. Do your research. It'll be fantastic. The other thing that we also like to do on this channel is obviously compare the underlying data, right? We need to understand how AVAX is doing from an advice.io perspective, right? What does the artificial intelligence and machine learning tell us? Well, we're actually going to jump over to the advice.io dashboard here. We have loaded up AVAX. We can see that the overall rating is an A3, so again, pretty good. Nothing to really worry about there. But we'll see if there's any concerns anywhere. So we can see that the AMI-HAD ratio here is an A2 rating, indicating there are no problems with liquidity, which is good to see. Fear and greed index A2, so greedy, almost you would say extremely greedy, but yeah, a little bit lower than A1, but ultimately very, very greedy nonetheless. So again, this is usually where you would be concerned that profits will be taken, i.e. you'll start seeing sideways trading occurring, or major pullbacks if there's a lot of people trying to exit, which I don't think will be the case. So, you know, under these circumstances, you see the price move up significantly. Again, we've been up here in this area for a very long time. So, you know, we can see some good growth here. So FOMOing in, there'll be things and elements of that going on. And an A2 rating is indicating, you know, very, very greedy. So it's good to see, but obviously be mindful profits are taken at those points as well. And when it goes fearful, that's the fear that you buy. The Sharpe ratio is an A2, well above the 50-day average. So risk reward ratio is also working in our favor. So that's nice to see that there are no risks or limited risks to rewards here for AVAX, which is nice. So we can see that so here the moving averages are A2, no problems to report there. The profitability cannot be rated. It's unrateable, which means it just isn't enough data to kind of allow us to actually get a baseline. So we do not know the profitability. This is pretty common for new projects and shouldn't be of concern to us. But you can see ultimately that has affected the overall score. And also, you know, the peak end value demand has affected that overall score. But nonetheless, it's doing really well. It's up there with some of these great projects within the space and has been faring quite well considering everything that's been going on with Bitcoin and the rest of the crypto space. So nothing to really report majorly underlying issues with AVAX. So that's nice to see. And then we can actually go down into our hourly report as well, our hourly chart here, and talk about what's going on. We did have this upward trend. This was tracking really nicely, right? We're getting some good bounces from here. This trend line was so very strong. We bounced again and then we lost it. That was so unfortunate for us because we were tracking, as I said, all-time highs. Getting that bounce from there would have been key, right? But Bitcoin decided to actually do the opposite and pull us down. So even at this point, we're oversold, right? And we started to track downwards. We tried to push back up once we bounced from our 786. Just down here, we pushed up, but again, entering this overbought area now. So we are looking to have some kind of baby pullback, and we'll look for the support of that 786. And if we can continue to hold it, that should put us in a pretty good position to hopefully get this recovery going and form a new trend, because as this was really unfortunate that we were tracking so well across our trend line here. And then we've lost that because of Bitcoin. But sideways trading, fine. This is the support line is going to be the absolute key for us. Getting that and holding that support should see us move back to the upside in a nice, strong way, provided that Bitcoin doesn't do anything crazy and pull us back down into these lower areas. The main thing for us, like I said, is to hold that 786, hold this key area for us. Do not slip below it. If we're able to do that, then we should be heading up towards our 1.6 area, our 1.618 area, and then in doing so, you obviously get a new price discovery and moving on ahead with AVAX. I really like this project. So I will leave it there, guys. I'll keep this nice and brief. Hopefully you have found this video useful and informative. If you have, hit the like button. I really do appreciate that. If you are new, then do subscribe, tap the bell, select all notifications. And in doing so, you will be kept up to date with everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. With this said, done, and out of the way, I hope everyone has a fantastic day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.